Good morning, friends. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this is your Red Pill Weekend News Brief. First of all, I just wanted to show a little video from CNN. Now, normally, I don't really care for CNN, but I want to show this because Stephen Miller just wrecks Wolf Blitzer. All right, so let me make it bigger. And we're going to hit play.
Are you talking to Democrats right now to come up with a compromise before midnight tomorrow night?
The Democrats, all they need to do is support border security and the government will be funded. But that barrier we're talking about is what the Border Patrol
The Democrats support border security. They don't support $5 billion for a wall.
Could you identify, Wolf, for me some of the kinds of border security you're saying the Democrats
all say they support border security.
But like what?
Where
they don't do respect,
with you.
They voted against case law. They voted against ending sanctuary cities. They voted against deporting MS-13 gang members. They voted against deporting violent criminals. They voted time and time again against a physical border wall to stop illegal entry. I mean, where is the evidence that you keep asserting they're for border security? They haven't been. They oppose closing loopholes for asylum that flood our system with meritless claims.
I want to move on to another sensitive issue.
They oppose ending catch and release.
I want to move on to another sensitive issue. Boom! Wrecked. He could not make a comeback for that. I could see Wolf Blitzer's palpable discomfort every time Stephen Miller would speak about a portion of the border security issue. Wolf Blitzer could not think of a comeback for anything, and he had to move on. Thank you so much, Stephen Miller. Love that guy. All right. Now, on the subject of border security, from 100%fedup.com, remember, these 8 Republicans voted against Trump's border wall. Vote them out. We have some names you need to remember, and when it's time to vote again. The names are of the 8 House Republicans who voted against President Trump's border wall. Get your pens ready, guys. Having an open border costs the American taxpayers so much more than the cost of the border wall that our president wants to build for the safety and sovereignty of that country. The Center for Immigration Studies just compared what it costs to build the wall versus what it costs to have illegals pouring into America. Can you guess which one costs more? If you guess the border wall is much cheaper, you'd be correct. Center for Immigration Studies tweeted out earlier today, a border wall would likely pay for itself. If a wall stopped between 160,000 and 200,000 illegal crossers, 9 to 12% of those expected to successfully cross in the next decade, the fiscal savings would equal the $12 to $15 billion cost for the wall. Wonderful argument. So why should the Republicans below not want a secure border for the safety and for the money it would save taxpayers? The 8 Republicans to kick out of Congress? Number 1, Justin Amash from Michigan. Number 2, Ken Buck from Colorado. Number 3, Carlos Curbelo from Florida. Number 4, Will Hurd from Texas. Number 5, Eric Paulson from Minnesota. Number 6, Ileana Ross-Lehtinen from Florida. Number 7, Fred Upton from Michigan. And number 8, David Valadao from California. So we have 2 from Michigan and 2 from Florida. Wow. I think we know how we need to vote next time, Michigan and Florida. All of these states, just stop voting for these rhino Republicans. We need to get some real candidates in these areas. So for people like Justin Amash, who claims to be a fiscal conservative, he might want to read the study below from Steve Camarata of the Center for Immigration Studies. The cost of these illegals far outweighs the benefit. American taxpayers should be outraged that our government takes your hard-earned dollars and spends it on people who are not even citizens of our country. How is this representing your constituents? Steve Camarata, with the CIS, reports the findings from the study, which make the point that lack of education is a big factor in why the illegal immigrants cost us so much money. There is agreement among researchers that illegal immigrants overwhelmingly have modest levels of education. Most have not completed high school or have only a high school education. There is also agreement that immigrants who come to America with modest levels of education create significantly more in costs for government than they pay in taxes. A recent NAS study estimated the lifetime fiscal impact, taxes paid minus services used, of immigrants by education. Averaging the cost estimates from that study and combining them with the education levels of illegal border crossers shows that a net fiscal drain of $74,722 per illegal crosser. The above figures are only for the illegal immigrants and do not include any cost for their U.S.-born descendants. If we use the NAS projections that include the descendants, the fiscal drain for border crossers grows to $94,391 each. If a border wall prevented 160 to 200,000 illegal crossings, excluding descendants, in the next 10 to 12 years, it would be enough to pay for the estimated $12 to $15 billion costs of the wall. Newly released research by the Institute for Defense Analyses done for the Department of Homeland Security indicates that 170,000 illegal immigrants crossed the border successfully without going through a port of entry in 2015. While a significant decline in crossing from a decade ago, it still means that there may be 1.7 million successful crossings in the next decade. If a wall stopped just 9 to 12% of these crossings, it would pay for itself. If a wall stopped half of those expected to successfully enter illegally without going through a port of entry at the southern border over the next 10 years, it would save taxpayers nearly $64 billion, several times the wall's cost. Oh my Lord. This is compelling information, everyone. Please take note so that you can add it to your arsenal. Make sure that you tell people, I'll tell you exactly how walls work. It's going to save us money. All right. This is something I tweeted out a couple days ago, and I think it's important because we're in those 10 days of darkness right now. Homeland Security is serving federal warrants at Grand Rapids Tech Organization. Let me just refresh and see if it's updated since the last time I came here. Several law enforcement agencies are currently at the scene of a Grand Rapids technology organization. Grand Rapids Police, along with state and federal agencies, are at the National Science Institute in the 900 block of Leonard Northwest. The group was formerly known as the Geek Group. Grand Rapids Police at the scene tell Fox 17 that the scene was above them. That means it's federal. U.S. Homeland Security tells Fox 17 that their agents are at the scene serving federal search warrants as part of an ongoing criminal probe. The warrants are sealed in federal court. We have a crew at the scene and we'll have more details if they become available. Oh, and look, they put it on Facebook. Due to unforeseen circumstances, we will be closed for the remainder of the day. Wow. Well, in the last version I read, it said that the warrants were sealed. Maybe it was because it was on a different website, but I was pretty sure that it was on this Fox website. Well, let's go ahead and watch this video.
Well, Michael Martin is live outside the National Science Institute with more details on just what exactly he's seeing there. Michael?
Yeah, Doug. So up until about 45 minutes ago, you could see federal agents going in and out of that building there just behind me. We're in the 900 block of Leonard Northwest. That's not too far from Alpine. This is the National Science Institute, known until not too long ago as the Geek Group. So if you were driving around in this area today, more than likely you noticed quite a bit of activity here. Now, we spoke to the Department of Homeland Security earlier, who told us that it's them out here, that they're here as part of an ongoing criminal probe, telling us they've got special agents here serving search warrants. Now, details about the probe, this ongoing criminal probe, are scarce at the moment because those search warrants, they say, remain sealed in federal court. At about 3:15 p.m. This afternoon, all of those agents, they all left. We went up to the front of the building where we were greeted by a public relations representative who said they have no further comment, or rather no comment at all. The National Science Institute did announce on their Facebook this afternoon, a few hours ago, that they would be closed today due to what they called unforeseen circumstances. Now, the Homeland Security that we spoke to, they said that they're going to defer all further questions, all further information to the U.S. Attorney's Office out here. We also reached out to the owner of the National Science Institute and have yet to hear back. For now, though, live in Grand Rapids, Michael Martin, Fox 17 News.
Thanks for reporting, Michael. And now some news from the Washington Examiner. Foreign company and possibly Mueller-related secret case heads to Supreme Court. These are sealed court proceedings. The unnamed company owned by a foreign country that is challenging a grand jury subpoena issued in federal court in Washington is asking the Supreme Court to step in. This week, Corporation A, that is owned by Country A, lost its challenge against having to comply with a grand jury subpoena that many believe has been issued by special counsel Robert Mueller. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia rejected the challenge by the company to quash the subpoena late Tuesday night. On Saturday, the company formally filed an application with the Supreme Court asking to intervene and stay the lower court's decision, and has also asked that the case remain under seal. The company is also asking the Supreme Court to halt the continuing $5,000 per week fine it is incurring for not complying with the subpoena, an effort Judge David S. Tottle, Thomas B. Griffith, and Stephen F. Williams of the D.C. Circuit are also rejected this week. Legal expert Steve Vladeck said on Twitter that if the Supreme Court takes up the case and keeps it under seal, it will be the first time the highest court in the land has conducted plenary review, including oral arguments under seal. Interesting. On Thursday and Friday, there was sealed action in the case at the D.C. Circuit. The D.C. Circuit denied a motion filed by the company, but no other information regarding the motion was revealed. The grand jury case was first put on the docket in October, but CNN witnessed several lawyers from Mueller's office going into the courtroom in early September. The courtroom involved an unknown defense team and a trial-level judge who oversees federal grand jury-related cases. In mid-October, Politico broke the story that Mueller's team was brought into the court by a witness battling a subpoena and only discovered the connection to Mueller's probe after overhearing a man request a document in the case from the special counsel's office. 2 weeks ago, Judges Tottle, Griffith, and Williams took a recess after hearing an immigration-related case, and then the floor of the courthouse where the appeals court is located went into lockdown. Only law clerks were allowed to stay behind. No one saw anyone from Mueller's office or any other lawyers from a possible defense coming in or going out of the building. However, CNN reported that after the court activity appeared to end for the day, a black Justice Department car returned to Mueller's office in Washington carrying lawyers Michael Dreeben and Zainab Ahmad. Mueller took over the Russia investigation in May 2017 and has so far brought criminal counts against more than 30 people and 3 Russian entities, producing more than 100 criminal charges that are basically complete nothing burgers. Well, I guess we'll have to wait on this one, and we'll see what's going on. All right, now, I'm going to refresh this. I wanted to read this story because I was watching YouTube yesterday, and I saw this video from 2 weeks ago where a man was talking about planetary alignment for the 21st. It looked to me like it was like Mercury, Uranus, the Earth, and the Moon. There may have been one other planet in there. I can't remember. I should have looked at it before I started this video, but it's too late now. All these planets were in alignment at the same time, and there's a history of this planetary alignment taking place. When it's happened, there have been the largest recorded earthquakes in history on Earth, and so they aligned on the 21st. This man predicted something major happening between the 21st and the 25th. And then yesterday on the 22nd, there's this Indonesian tsunami because of a volcanic eruption. Volcanic eruptions are caused by the magma coming up through the plates and the layers of the earth. So my point is that it's volcanic eruptions and tectonic movement. It's similar. It's Earth movements and stuff. I don't know how to say it. I'm not an expert in this, but let's just read. Indonesia tsunami kills hundreds after Krakatau eruption. Wow. When I saw this last time, it was only 62 people that were dead. We'll watch this for a second. Oh, there is no sound. Wow.
Nah, saya sekali itu kayaknya ada suara gede itu gerubuk gitu. Sama saya angin kan. Nah, rupanya saya buka pintu, air pun masuk. Udah semua penuh langsung. Terus ketarik lagi si ini nih, air ini ke tengah. Nah, saya melihat tengah itu surut, jauh bener kan. Jadi ya pas ke situ saya pada beberes.
At least 222 people have been killed and 843 injured after a tsunami hit coastal towns on Indonesia's Sunda Strait, government officials said. There was no warning of the giant waves which struck at night, destroying hundreds of buildings, sweeping away cars, and uprooting trees. It is thought that undersea landslides from the Anak Krakatau volcano caused them. President Joko Widodo has expressed sorrow for the victims and urged people to be patient. Rescue efforts are being hampered by blocked roads, but heavy lifting equipment is being transported to badly hit areas to help search for victims. The Sunda Strait between the islands of Java and Sumatra connects to the Java Sea to the Indian Ocean. What do we know so far? The Disaster Management Agency has warned people to stay away from the coastline due to fears of another tsunami. Saturday's tsunami struck at about 21:30 local time during a local holiday. It hit several popular tourist destinations, including the Tanjung Lesung Beach Resort in the West of Java Island. Footage shared on social media showed a large wave crashing into a tent in the resort in which popular Indonesian rock band 17 was performing. Members of the band were being swept away as the wave destroyed the stage. Wow. In a tearful Instagram video, singer Rayfan Farjaside said the band's bassist and road manager had died. Oh, man. And 3 other band members and his own wife were missing. Oh. Red Cross official Kathy Mueller told the BBC, there is debris littering the ground, crashed cars, crushed motorcycles. We're seeing buildings that are collapsed. It appears that the main road to Pandeglang has been badly damaged, making it difficult for rescuers to reach the area, she added. Eyewitness Asep Perengkat said cars and containers have been dragged about 10 meters. Wow. That'd be pretty scary. Buildings on the edge of Kurita Beach were destroyed. Trees and electricity poles fell to the ground. Officials said more than 160 people were killed in Pandeglang, a popular tourist district of Java known for its beaches and national park. Meanwhile, 48 were reported dead in South Lampung and on Sumatra, and deaths were also reported in Serang district and Tanggamus on Sumatra. Officials fear the death toll could rise further. There it is. Anak Krakatau. So far, no foreign nationals have been reported dead. That's surprising. Yep. All right. Well, guys, pray for Sumatra and Java. These poor people. God, that guy is banned. That's just so horrible. Can you imagine that? Losing everybody just like that. Very, very sad, guys. And now, a feel-good story from the Daily Caller. Why President Trump is right about border security. Here are the details on illegal immigrant arrests in 2018. This is also another great bit of information to add to your argument arsenal. As the federal government is facing a shutdown over President Donald Trump's desire to build a wall to further protect the U.S.'s borders, the Department of Homeland Security released details about the illegal immigrants arrested this year. The number of illegal immigrants arrested went up in 2018, according to numbers released by DHS. It can be attributed, at least in part, to Trump's executive order signed in 2017 dictating the administration's immigration enforcement policies. They revealed a breakdown of the illegal immigrants who faced administrative arrests over the last year. The most common causes for administrative arrests were traffic violations, including driving under the influence, with 80,000 arrests. The second most common was possession of dangerous drugs, although it doesn't specify what drugs fall under the category. DHS has also reportedly seized over 900,000 pounds of drugs in 2018. In addition, DHS broke down the criminal histories of each of the illegal immigrants who faced administrative arrests this year. Just under 2/3 had previous criminal convictions at the time of their 2018 arrests. Over 20% of them had pending criminal charges, while only 13% had no criminal records at all. Over 80% of the illegal immigrants deported in 2018 were from Mexico, Honduras, or Guatemala. Mexico had by far the largest representation, with 55% of the illegal immigrants deported coming from the U.S.'s southern neighbor. Wow. Pretty good reason to keep them out, if you ask me. All right, now we have one more story for the news. I don't know if you guys heard, but Gatwick Airport in London had been shut down for several days because some people were flying drones on the tarmacs. It was kind of mysterious because, from what I understand, drones don't have that long of a battery life. And in order to, get to where you're going to be flying these drones, it seems like people would have to be, like on the airport property or fairly close. Or I don't know, maybe if they have cameras on it, they can fly it for a long, long distance. But they flew drones all over the airport, and they shut the airport down. And I'm sure the British government is really upset. Gatwick drones, man and woman from Crawley held. A 47-year-old man and 54-year-old woman from Crawley are being questioned over multiple drone sightings that brought Gatwick Airport to a standstill. Flights were grounded for more than 36 hours when drones were first spotted close to the runway on Wednesday night. The airport has since reopened and flights were operating on schedule, but there were still long queues and some knock-on delays, a spokesman said. Police are searching a house in Crawley, and the pair remain in custody. They were arrested on Friday evening and were being questioned on suspicion of disrupting civil aviation to endanger or likely to endanger safety of operations or persons, Sussex police said. The force said it was deploying a range of tactics to prevent further incursions from drones following the arrests. Strategies were in place in case any further unmanned aircraft were seen inside the airport perimeter, it said. Superintendent James Collis said, "We continue to urge the public, passengers, and the wider community around Gatwick to be vigilant and support us by contacting us immediately if they believe they have any information that can help us in bringing in those responsible to justice." The airport said it aimed to run a full schedule of 757 flights on Saturday, carrying 124,484 passengers. Many people will be due to fly today, and there will be longer delays, perhaps. Yeah, you got a day and a half wait back up. But broadly, things are going in the right direction. By the end of the weekend, things should be back to normal. The Shorrock family from Oxford arrived at the airport to fly to Innsbruck in the Australian Alps for a skiing trip. Vivian Shorrock said she was relieved to have avoided the disruption. "Some people have suffered real losses by not getting where they want to go to be with their family," she said. Her husband David joked that the drama was a nice distraction from Brexit. Well, that's a good point, David. Maybe this was a distraction from Brexit. Seems kind of stupid for these people to have done this, but I don't know. It takes all types. But, I wanted to show this because there was a lot of people who were like, UFO, UFO. And maybe it was. I don't know. But they're arresting these people for flying drones. So we'll see what happens. Keep an eye on that. All right. And then I have a couple of more stories, but I'm going to put them out in videos later today because they're a little more controversial. And I just want to make sure that I'm going to put them in the same story. Well, that's it for me. You've been listening to Red Pill 78, the corruption detector. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and good luck, and God bless.